What's up, everybody? Marvel the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today we are looking at Amazing Spider-Man issue number 119. This issue was released in January of 1973, and the cover date is April of 1973. And we have Spider-Man going up against everyone's favorite Jolly Green Giant, the Incredible Hulk, as Spider-Man is making his way to Canada to work on an assignment for the Daily Bugle. And so Spidey versus the Hulk, it doesn't get any better than this. We have an action-packed episode to look at today. This cover was drawn by the great John Romita Sr., one of my favorite Spider-Man artists. And so you definitely do not want to click away from this video because we're going to be looking at this story here as we continue to look at the history of Spider-Man as we're going through Volume 1 of the Amazing Spider-Man series. We are now looking at issue 119, and the gentleman's name is Hulk. The story and artwork is brought to you by John Romita and Jerry Conway, and we have the lettering by John Costanza, colorist Andrea Hunt, and the editor Roy Thomas. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get started with this story here. We see that on the opening panel here on the first page, we have Spider-Man swinging into the headquarters of Dr. Octopus. If you've been keeping up with the videos lately in this series, you know that Aunt May is working for Dr. Octopus. She is a maid for him, and there's a big mystery surrounding her relationship with Dr. Octopus. Why is Dr. Octopus using Aunt May to work for him at his hidden lair here? And why are there so many guards surrounding the area? Well, Spider-Man is going to sneak into the premises here because he received a telegram from Aunt May's friend, Mrs. Watson, who is the aunt of Mary Jane Watson, and he's wanting to find out more information about this telegram and what it has to do between her and Dr. Octopus. So he sneaks up and he finds out that the telegram has not been received yet by Dr. Octopus's personnel. And so they're going to keep an eye out for it. And so what Peter Parker now is going to do is he's going to have to put that telegram that he received from Mrs. Watson, and he's going to put it back into his coat pocket to read later. And he's going to use that time to spend time with Aunt May, to catch up with her. And so for about an hour, he spends time with Aunt May while he notices all of these Doc Ock personnel and all these men just walking around the premises here. And of course, Peter Parker doesn't like the fact that Aunt May is working for Dr. Octopus, but she wants to work for him. She wants to take care of him because she has a high value of Dr. Octopus. As you've seen in the past few issues, she holds him to a high regard. She thinks that he is an honest, nice man. When she really doesn't understand is that Dr. Octopus is a hardened criminal and that he's a big threat to Spider-Man. Well, we see Peter Parker says he has to leave. He has to take a bus back to the city, and that's just an excuse to get away from the premises here so that he can make his way towards New York City so he can go to the Daily Bugle because he definitely wants to go to Canada. He's found out here through this telegram as he's on this bus that this telegram is from Canada, and he needs to find out exactly why a person from Canada wants the attention of Aunt May, because it's an order for her to get to Canada as quickly as possible. As this note says right here, urgent, I contact you at once. Stop, please come in person. Stop this matter too delicate for the discussion here on phone. And so it's from Jean-Pierre Rimbaud. And so Peter's like, what does this character want with Aunt May? And so While Peter is at his apartment, and before he goes to the Daily Bugle, he changes back to Peter Parker, and he notices that his roommate, Harry Osborn, is getting out of the vehicle, or at least approaching the vehicle where his dad is. And all of a sudden, Harry Osborn begins to faint. Peter is just trying to help when Norman Osborn gets out of the vehicle and just throws a big fury of insults to Peter Parker, saying, "I've had it with your incessant meddling. Thomas, get my son into the car and be quick about it." So, what was that all about? Why was, Norman Osborn being so mean towards Peter? And that starts to get Peter worried here because he's like, what if Norman Osborn has cracked? What if he is starting to revert back to the Green Goblin? And Lord help us if that really happens. And so that's a concern for another day. But for right now, what gets Peter Parker's attention is this ad here where it shows that the Hulk has been seen in Canada. That gives Peter Parker an idea. He said, if I'm going to go meet this Jean Pierre and get to the bottom of this with Aunt May, then I need to go to Canada. And if Hulk is there, then Spidey can be there too. And that's a good way to get pictures. Well, we see that J. Jonah Jameson is in a pretty bad mood here, but he lets Peter go to Canada. That gives Peter Parker the chance to go to Canada, thankfully, because of this photo assignment. So Peter Parker has promised J. Jonah Jameson he's going to get pictures of the Hulk. Peter then meets with Jean Pierre's secretary here, but seems that Jean is out on business here. And so Peter's like, well, I want to speak to your boss as soon as I can. So she's going to try to make an appointment where Peter can meet with him. What gets Peter Parker's attention now is that there's going to be this big meeting here with General Thunderbolt Ross as he is declaring war on the Hulk. Hulk must be stopped and he must be crushed. And General Thunderbolt Ross has joined forces with the Canadian Army, and they're going to be hunting down the Hulk, when all of a sudden he receives word that the Hulk is 10 miles away, and so they are going to end the conference here, and General Thunderbolt Ross is going to gather his men, and they're going to go hunt down the Hulk. Well, Peter Parker wants to be there on the scene, and so he can take pictures, so he leaps inside of this vehicle very brazenly here, and that gives Peter Parker the advantage here so he can be up close in person to meet the Hulk and take some pictures. Well, his Spidey sense starts to go off, and lo and behold, the Hulk makes an entrance here, and he just picks up that truck and throws it. The men, luckily, do not get harmed, but Spider-Man here is going to make an entrance here as Peter changes to his Spidey suit, and he's going to go tackle the Hulk here. And we got some great artwork by the great John Romita Sr. here that I'll just let y'all see. Spidey sets up his automatic camera here, and this is where we're going to see Hulk go up against General Thunderbolt Ross's men here, which he has done time and time again if you are a reader of the Incredible Hulk. And so we see that Hulk is now just going to go on a rampage here like he always does. He takes out a lot of those missiles, and he's about to throw a big chunk of dirt here and ground. When Spidey saves the day, he uses his webbing here to prevent these men from being crushed by all this flying debris. And then, because Hulk gets mad that the rock didn't do what he wanted it to do, he smashes all that ground. Debris is flying everywhere. Spider-Man's trying to duck for cover. And the Hulk now is making his way to the Mascatawan Dam. And this is dangerous because if he breaks that dam, then it could kill a village of people. And we learn right here that General Thunderbolt Ross's daughter, Betty, has married Glenn Talbot. So that's big news there. that happened during that time in 1973. Well, Hulk starts to do exactly what Spider-Man feared. He starts to punch that wall, and Spider's like, oh crap, what have I gotten myself into? I gotta fight a 10-foot monster called the Hulk, and I'm in right in the middle of a war here. And so Hulk tries to flatten Spider-Man with this crowbar, but Spidey leaps out of the way. And so Spidey then has got this idea: I'm gonna have to, make myself all the way up to the top of the dam so that I could press this little lever here, causing the dam to break, and the water starts to just flow. Hulk gets mad, and the funny thing he says is, Hulk says stop, and he then punches the part of the dam. The dam starts to break, and so now Spidey and Hulk have been plunged right into this ice cold water. And this, folks, is where we're going to end the issue right here. Is Spider-Man going to be able to save himself from drowning in this frigid temperature water and escape from getting tackled by the Hulk? We're going to find all this out in issue number 120. We end here on a great cliffhanger. I hope you like this issue, and I'm looking forward to issue 120 as we look at the second part to this story here with Spider-Man fighting the Hulk. Hope to see y'all in the next one. But go ahead now and drop a like on this video. That would help me out tremendously. And subscribe if you have not. And I will see y'all in the next one.